You'll know when you have a wild woman. She'll practice her craft without boundaries. She is truly autonomous. Her loyalty is only to the family she serves, a midwife who will not allow herself to be held back by a system she didn't create.
This podcast is for the birth keepers who want to grow and change. We are open to learning through self-reflection and supportive community. We are creating this space to explore without judgment. We are remembering we were
Born wild. Welcome back to the Born Wild podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sophia Henderson. Today I interview Isha on her pregnancy journey, her decision to birth unassisted, as well as her breastfeeding struggles. Enjoy. Hi, Isha. Thank you for joining me to chat about your birth experience.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, let's start. Can you go back to conception and just was this a planned thing? Was this a surprise pregnancy? What was pregnancy and finding out about pregnancy like for you?
Oh, wow. Finding out about pregnancy. Yeah, it was not planned at all. It was definitely not a time where I would said, oh yeah, let's have a baby. Not at all. Yeah, we weren't doing good financially at all. We didn't even have our own place. And how I found out about the pregnancy, yeah, that was funny because I actually knew pretty soon, and I even felt like while it was happening, I thought, oh, I think it could have happened right now. But I just pushed it to the side, and so I kind of knew it pretty early, but I really tried to ignore that feeling. And once I saw the full moon and I didn't have my period yet, I thought, oh shit, I think this is pretty clear now. I have to be pregnant because I always have my period on full moon.
Right. So did you take a test, or did you just know and you took a test?
Then I did. I already knew, but I just wanted to have the physical evidence kind of to show also kind of, my husband, oh, look, this happened now. Yeah. So I was really not feeling good about it. I was shocked. I was scared. But I have to say, once I saw it on the test that I was pregnant, everything changed. That's the moment when I could also just admit it to myself, okay, you really are pregnant. Yeah. And then everything became just like a dream. It was I felt like, oh my God, I really received a blessing. I felt really like I'm in heaven. It was crazy. The first 2 weeks was really like that. And then I got the nauseous episodes and not feeling well. Yeah.
Morning sickness, that did it last all day for you?
No, just at some sometimes in the morning. Mm-hmm. Or when I was smelling raw food. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't want to cook those kind of things, but I never had to throw up, so I was lucky. And it stopped right at the 12th week.
Nice, textbook.
Yes.
Pregnancy. How else was your pregnancy? Did anything else come up along the way that was unusual for you, or?
I think I had a really easy pregnancy. What came up was that I really had a strong feeling about his gender. So I had a pretty strong intuition because I asked myself what I would like to have, kind of. I was just talking to myself, and I just had this, oh, maybe a girl will be easy. Without really having a preference, I just thought maybe a girl is easy. And then I kind of got a response saying, well, too bad, it's going to be a boy for sure. And it really was like that. And I was like, okay, I guess I don't have a say anymore. It's just a boy. So and since then, I just always pictured him as a boy. That intuition went away after a few months. later I didn't have that strong feeling anymore, but I trusted that initial intuition I had. And we were only buying both clothes, and people only gifted us clothes for boys. It really worked. It wasn't a surprise when he came out.
But you kept his sex a surprise. You didn't do an ultrasound to find out, or blood
I did
work or
nothing.
anything.
I didn't do anything. I didn't go to the doctor once.
Yes.
Only an alternative doctor.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your prenatal care, whether it was with anyone else or how you did take care of yourself.
I only went to an Ayurvedic doctor. Is that how you say it? Ayurvedic, right? And she only measured my pulse. And she also said, "Oh, I think it's a boy." That was kind of in the 6th month, I think. And that's the only doctor I went to. And then I had you when I was 7 months, I think, right?
Yeah. We met. A friend messaged me and said that she gave you my contact because you were saying you wanted to do a free birth, unassisted birth. She was like, whether you do it or not, you should meet my friend because she totally loves free birth and would love to chat with you. Yeah, how far along were you when we met?
I think it was 7 months, maybe 6, but not much earlier. Sometime around that.
Yeah, I still remember when I came over and met with you, and you were so cute. You're like, okay, I think I found my midwife. And I was like,
yes, exactly. Yeah, that was so easy. I thought, oh my God, now I have to go through a few midwives to find the right one. It really has to work. I mean, it's pretty intimate and I have to feel really comfortable. I was reading one book. That was the only book I was preparing for. It was, what's it called again? The one from Ina May, Childbirth. And
Ina May's Guide to Childbirth.
Yes. And she kept talking about how important it is that a woman feels so comfortable and can open up, because that's what ultimately happens. And and when I met you, I was like, oh yeah, this is like, I feel so homey with you. And it was easy. I didn't contact anyone else. You were the only contact I had and didn't look for another one.
I felt the same way when I went home and I talked to my husband. I was like, I love them. I just want to hang out with them.
Yeah, that's how I imagined how it has to be when I have a midwife. So I felt really lucky that it worked so easily.
Yeah. Well, so then take me to, getting close to the time of birth. Was there anything that popped up for you the last, few weeks of pregnancy, or what was it like going into labor?
I got very impatient, got very uncomfortable. That's funny because can you hear that?
Yeah, but it's okay. This is very casual.
Yeah, I just turned it off. So yeah, I just wanted to have my body back. So like now it's time. And it's funny because I always it was funny to me when I remembered my sister-in-law, how she was complaining in her last months, and then when I was like 7 months, I was like, how is it so difficult? It's so nice. It's so easy. I can do everything. I kept working till I was 8 months, or even 8.5. And but then I could feel it too. It was very, very uncomfortable.
How far along were you when he was actually
born? I think it was like 41 weeks, right?
41 weeks. Okay.
I don't even remember. Something like that.
That sounds right.
I just, I also wasn't sure when the actual due date was, so.
Yeah. And COVID, I mean, did that affect you at all? Because now there's like all the shelter in places and you can't go out and do anything really, and it's
Yeah,
hard to kill time at the end of a pregnancy when all you have to do is stay home.
yeah, I didn't notice that too much because I didn't want to go out anymore really at that stage. At that point, I was mainly just like going into the hot tub every day, twice, because it was really nice and it felt light in the water. Yeah, so I just did that and waited, and I was having hope every time I felt like a little cramp. Yeah.
And you moved at the end of your pregnancy.
Oh, yeah. That was when I was 7 months. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It was okay. Yeah.
Because that can be a lot.
Yeah.
Even when you're not pregnant.
Oh, yeah. It was a lot, but we had so much help. It was really manageable. And I think it helped because we had all our stuff was in storage. And we didn't have much because we were living with my parents-in-law at that time, and we didn't have so much at that place. So everything was already packed up, basically.
You only had to unpack.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Okay. Well, yeah. What was it like how did you know you were actually in labor?
Oh God, it's so hard how it goes away already, right? You forget everything. When I actually went into labor, well, I kept having those period-like cramps, and they just picked up more and more. And then I had them like throughout the whole day at some point. And I was kind of wondering if this already means that my what's it called again? Uterus? That it's opening.
Your cervix?
Yeah, my cervix. And I had my husband check it. And after that, I had a bloody show. So I think he kind of like maybe helped making it, I don't know, start quicker. And then I think the next day I had, what's it called again? The little slimy thing that comes out.
Mucus?
Yes, that came out.
The mucus plug?
Yes. And then I think it was at the same day at night or the next day at night when it really started. Then it became really painful, but not too painful. I could definitely just like do everything else while having those contractions. And then it picked up more during the night, and then in the morning it just like stopped. And that's when I kept texting you like, hey, what's going on? Like, is this normal? Why does it just stop now? Because I actually wanted to do this alone without even you being there. I thought this is cool. I just do like a really intimate experience with my partner, and it's just a natural thing. We can totally pull this off.
Yeah, we had done like a couple prenatal visits, and just knowing that I was there if you needed me is kind of how we set it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we asked you all the questions that we thought we need to know, and we felt pretty good. But during those 2 days, I did get a little nervous and just unsure because it just, as I said, it went up and then it went down again. And my mom told me that it was only like 6 hours of contractions and then like 2 hours of pushing. And I totally had that in my head, like, oh, it's going to be like my mom. Because that's how it usually is, right? And then the third night, was it the third night or the fourth night? I don't remember how many nights. 3?
I think it was the third night, yeah.
Yeah. So when it went towards the night, I told Dan, I don't think we should do this alone anymore. I think we should get Sophia now. because I need support. And Dan was getting so tired.
Yeah.
He was sleeping all the time. And then I also started feeling alone when he was sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I called you. And when you came over, I just felt so released. Oh my God. It's like, okay, now I can actually just like let it go. Maybe that's also how it just picked up so much more then, because right after it just like went into like, whoop, okay, it's starting now. It was so quick, right?
I had you said you wanted to take a bath, and so I went to draw you a bath. And remember, I found the bag of Epsom salts, and I said, "Just curious, have you been using these?" And you were like, "Oh yeah, I've been taking lots of baths with that." I was like, "It can stop labor." Like it can
Oh
slow
my
things
God.
down. And I mean, like I had preterm labor, and that helped me stop my contractions. And it got to a point where it wasn't helping anymore, and labor was just going to happen. But if you're in the early stages, sometimes it can slow things down. So we decided not to do that anymore, for sure. But it did pick up. So whether it was that or just sometimes feeling like you have someone there and you can let go of everything else and just be.
Totally. Yeah, it felt almost like being a kid again and having a mom around, like in a weird way. It's just like you just have to go through this and someone else is just taking care of everything. I mean, just the way how you always brought me this like power drink that you made with ginger and syrup and lemon or something.
Yeah, lemon, maple syrup, and salt.
Yeah. I mean, my husband didn't do anything like that. He just didn't know how to comfort me.
Mm-hmm.
He tried, like he did whatever he thought was best, but he just didn't know as much.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal for me.
And I think too, there's a difference when labor starts and it goes and it finishes versus this on and off where you can start to get into your head and do the like,
oh
does
yes,
this mean this, and you start to try to dissect it, and and you're trying to like diagnose yourself or like problem solve, and that being in your brain doesn't help labor progress. So sometimes it's nice to be like, okay, you do that part, I'm just going to be in my body.
Exactly. Yeah, that is exactly how it was. I was completely just focused on just going through those contractions. Didn't think about anything. And then when I asked you, what time is it? And I just kind of thought, like maybe a couple of hours went by. And it was already 12 or 1 a.m. And you came at 6 or 7. It was so I was shocked. I had no idea it was so late already. It was crazy. So yeah, I was totally in that kind of space. Yeah, but I didn't have a sense for time. Yeah, and then it went pretty fast.
Yeah, after I got there.
Well, not when the pushing started. That's when it suddenly slowed down again.
Yes. Yeah. What was anything to note on labor, what it was like for you or for the pushing stage?
Well, the labor, I feel like a good description to me is it's like leg cramps, but in the belly and also in my butt. It really, I felt like my butt was tightening up so much. That was super painful, like a cramp that just like lasted. That's how it felt for me, like very, very intense period cramps, plus the cramp, like muscle cramps. Yeah,
that's a good description. Yeah. So what about pushing?
Pushing, that was a hard part. Yeah, I mean, how long was it? Like 4 hours, right? I was pushing for 4 hours, and his head would always come down a little bit and then move back up. I don't remember exactly how it felt like, but I know it was just like such a strong force. I just had to push. But at some point, I just got a little confused why I pictured I push and he like comes more and more down and more, and then I have another push, but I didn't know if he's not above a certain point that he would go back up. So that was a little scary, and my husband got extremely scared. I'm so glad he didn't show it so much, but he told me later. Yeah, so at that point, I really know now that it was so essential to have you there, because that's where I wouldn't have known what to do really when I would have been alone. Because it was strange. I didn't know, like, is this normal? Like, why is he not coming out? I don't know what to do else. It was so hard to find the right position. We tried different kind of positions, and I thought standing would be the easiest. But it was so exhausting because it went on and on, and I just thought, oh my God, he's not coming out. And at that point, I just wanted to sleep. Because then I had those long breaks of no contractions, and in those breaks I was just like, okay, just like sleep, and if the contractions are just gone for a while, that's fine. I just don't want to do it anymore. And then you had this like wonderful elixir. Is that a word you used to?
Like tinctures?
Like, yes. Those like drops you gave me.
Was it peppermint oil?
I don't remember which one it was, but
do you remember what it was for?
Yes, to have me have stronger contractions again.
Like tinctures?
Yes.
Tinctures, yeah.
Yes. Those worked so well. I had stronger contractions again.
Yeah, because they would kind of space out, and then we'd say, do you want to take this opportunity to rest? And sometimes you did, and then sometimes you were like, no, like, let's just do this, So we would find the balance between resting when your body's spaced out, or, encouraging things to pick up when you felt ready to go.
Yeah, there was a time where I just did the resting in between, right? But then at the end I was like, okay, now I just have to finish this. Yeah.
And it's so normal too, where, babies don't stay down in the birth canal because it puts so much pressure on their heads that they don't really want to stay there until they're ready to come out soon, So they kind of go down and mold and come back up. But in labor, it's hard to you don't really want to spend labor educating and talking a lot, because you're not supposed to be in your brain. And so I know I just kept going this is normal. It takes time.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Well, I was so happy when we found the position at the end that actually worked.
Well, I bet you they all were helping, and it just happened to be that position is the one you gave birth in, but they all contributed to getting him low enough to come out.
Yeah, and get his head ready. But the last position really did feel like I'm like kind of really pushing a big watermelon with my whole body, because I was like sitting and putting my legs up, kind of like when you go to the woman doctor, gynecologist, and that really worked.
Yeah, you were kind of reclined, holding your knees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it really felt like I'm pushing my my inner stuff just outside of me. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember those first moments of him coming out and being born and being on you?
Yeah, that was a preparation for motherhood, I feel like, because when his head was crowned, oh my God, worst pain of my life. It couldn't be any more painful. It was so, oh my God, it was a nightmare. I remember my whole body was shaking in pain, and then I had to wait for the next contractions, and his head was just there, and I was looking at you like, what's going on? What's going on? Because it was so, that was crazy. It's also funny because you always hear that and you talk to other people about it when you prepare for it, and they all tell you that, but then when it actually happens, they're like, okay, this is way beyond my expectations. It's much much more painful.
And you survived it.
Yes. And then he's just like so happy when he's out. Oh my God, I was so happy. And it's crazy because that's all that counts in that moment. That he's just like out.
Right.
I wasn't worried about anything else and just like having him out of my body. You don't really think about, oh my God, like, is he okay? I just had trust. Everything else is okay. And it's probably also because you were there. So I didn't have to think about that. But yeah, all I was focused on was just like getting him out now at that point.
Yeah. There is this moment though where it is kind of like a catch your breath. Like if you were to run a marathon and cross the finish line, you wouldn't just like run to pick up your trophy. Even though you're glad you got the trophy, you like just compose yourself for a minute and catch your breath, and then accept your trophy. Yeah, and his daddy caught him and kind of just brought him right up onto your belly. I love those photos. They're such sweet photos of him just like wet and slimy and naked on your belly.
And he immediately did his arms like out. Like, ah! Too much space.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you remember like for immediate postpartum after he was born, like the placenta? What was the birth of that like for you?
That was like nothing compared to him being born. So it was a little painful, but yeah.
Yeah.
Really not bad at all.
I remember laughing because like
the nails.
Just given birth to the placenta and Dave's like trimming his nails. I was like, he hasn't even had his first meal and he's like trimming his nails. He's like, those are too long.
They were really long.
They were. It was so cute though.
Oh yeah, that was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were just moments of pure relief and joy. It's like night and day. Crazy how different it immediately was.
Yeah. And he was fine, didn't need any help with breathing, and your bleeding was great and normal. And did you what was like the first couple weeks postpartum like with you, that like new adjustment and nursing and baby care and healing and
I was surprised just how beaten up my body felt like. I didn't expect that everything would just hurt so intensely, like right after birth, because while you are in it, your body still feels like it's like on drugs. Like everything feels functioning and you can like walk and have like a lot of strength. But right after, everything is just like gone. Like you can't even walk. I mean, I was walking so slowly to the bathroom. It hurt so bad, like immediately. It was crazy. And then all I could do was just like lay in bed and only went to the bathroom. That's all I did. And then the only things that were a little scary or made me worry were the big blood clots I had. I had them coming out for a few days. They were pretty big. Like one was like my fist. And then it still came out like this size or like my thumb, but then they became smaller, so that was okay. But yeah, that was the only scary part for me, and everything else went really smoothly. I mean, no, not the breast.
Said no when you said
and there really was the nursing. Well, I mean, compared to what other people say, I guess it did went pretty good because he latched on, he got his milk, the colostrum, all that was totally fine. I had enough milk, but the pain, I can understand why some people don't go through and then stop breastfeeding, because the first 2 weeks were horror with the pain. Like I just kept researching, like, is this normal? What can I do? Why does it hurt so bad?
Oh.
My Kleiner.
What happened?
He put it in his mouth too hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, no, this is all special. Yeah.
I thought that was a big reaction to a flashback to his nursing challenges. I was like, oh, he's really upset about it.
He's laughing. Yeah, it's funny, huh?
Now you feel better? Yeah.
Yeah. He got his milk. He was happy. I wasn't happy with the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's quite a big adjustment.
Yeah. I remember I was reading a blog post from one woman, and she said she had to go through this for 2 weeks, and it was so worth it because right after it just stops hurting. So you have to deal with it for 2 weeks, sometimes 4, and then you're fine. You just have to go through this time, and then you can actually nurse your baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and don't have to give up. And I would say, okay, I can do this. Because every time he was nursing, it felt like razors going over my nipple. I mean, it was excruciating. It was horrible. But
did he have lip or tongue tie?
I think he had like a little bit, like a really small degree.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really true. After that time, I think it was 3 weeks for me. It just stopped hurting. I didn't feel bad anymore. I was barely any pain, just very rarely. But yeah, so I was really happy I did that.
And then you had a lump in one of your breasts that was a big thing for a little while.
Oh my God, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna give him to Dan.
Yeah, no worries.
He can bump them more.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, I remember you had a lump in one of your breasts that was a thing for a while. I can't remember how long.
Yeah, it was about 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it even longer? I think it was even longer. I don't remember. It was really long. Must have been a month, actually.
I was gonna say, I feel like it was at least that.
Yeah, it was a month. Yeah, I just woke up and had this like pretty big bump right above my
How far
breast.
postpartum were you?
It was fairly early, maybe 2nd month.
Like 2 months?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think so. And yeah, I remember I just having him nurse on that boob a lot, doing hot showers, try to like touch it a little bit. That's like one thing I didn't really want to do much,
Mm-hmm.
like actually massaging it and pushing on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, it just freaked me out, like pushing on a little bump in my body. I don't know, it was like yeah, I get goosebumps when I think about that. But it didn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't go away, and it actually got a little bigger, and it got red. And the weird thing was, it only hurt in the first few days,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't even hurt bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I still just did all the things, nursing, doing hot cloths on it, and even got a breast pump to like do it that way too. And then I had acupuncture, and just she tried to like release like the blockages I might have or something.
Mhm.
And nothing worked. And then it was 2 weeks, and I was like, oh my God, I have to do something. And I went to someone who does what's it called again? Like the ultrasound therapy stuff.
Mhm.
And she told me that I would actually have to check it out, so to make sure it's not like cancer cells or something, to make sure she doesn't release it into my
Yeah,
body.
she was gonna like break up the
Yeah,
blockage, but she didn't want to do that if it was cancer.
yeah. So it's like, oh my God, now it's getting more complicated. I have to go to the doctor first, and I don't have health insurance, so which also just mean more money.
Mhm.
And then I just realized, wait, it doesn't even hurt. And I know it's not cancer. It doesn't make any sense. I don't have to worry about that. So at that point, I really just let go. I was like, okay, it is what it is. I'm not going to worry about it anymore at all.
Mhm.
And I'm not even going to touch it and check if it's still there.
Yeah.
I completely just like ignored it, just like let it go. And then a few days after, I sometimes would like touch it a little bit and be like, okay, it's still there, whatever. And then I forgot about it, and I did it again, and it was gone. So yeah, it just went away by ignoring it.
You literally let it go. Mhm.
Yes, I didn't.
Emotionally and then physically.
Yes, and I didn't even try to nurse more on that side.
Mhm.
I just completely ignored it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Go ahead.
I still don't know what it actually. I mean, must have been a milk duct, but I had more milk ducts after, and they were so much easier and always went away.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure what it was, but it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it reminded me too that when your son was born, remember we found the little like white bumps on his body? He would
Oh
have
yeah.
clusters on his arm and his head and his back, and I hadn't seen it before. And I reached out to some people and did some research, and because there was like all these things, of course, running through our head, and because like
Mm-hmm.
any lab work or anything like that, and it turned out to be benign. It was called, I looked it up again, transient neonatal pustular melanosis, a very fancy word for white bumps that will be gone in 2 days.
Yeah. It was scary for us.
We're gone. But I remember that was a thing too for a little while. We're like, what are these? Like, is this something where you need to go in? Because of course, when you look it up, all the like worst case scenarios come up too with
Always.
undiagnosed STDs and all that kind of stuff. And
That's exactly why I always first try to not look it up
Mhm.
and listen to my feeling, like this is actually something I have to be concerned about, and like go after it. And that was my approach with the whole pregnancy, kind of. That's why I didn't go to any doctor, because everything felt, there was no issue at all. And yeah, I feel like that's really the way to go when you have something natural happening, like a pregnancy
Mhm.
and birth. And that's why it's so good when you have someone who's on the same page with this natural approach like you,
Mhm.
because then if you wouldn't have had that, you might have like put some other thoughts in my head, like if you give me ideas about like, oh, maybe you have to go to the hospital if you don't push them out, like if you lose your strength or something like that. It's like, it's so important to not have someone get you those kind of worries, because it can happen easily then.
Yeah, and you're in like a vulnerable position that somebody else's stuff
Exactly.
can so easily become your own, where you're like, well, maybe I do need to go in.
Yeah, exactly. You really have to select the people you want to surround yourself with in that kind of position.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see all those little things like that came up postpartum as almost like little test to your resolve of like taking your autonomy and like being the one to own your postpartum, like, do I actually need to go in and get help for this? Or is this okay? And the scariest part about this is the fact that I don't know, it doesn't have a label. And so I don't know what it is. And I just have to be like comfortable with not knowing what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And just trusting.
Yeah.
Because the doctors often don't even know.
Right.
Or they think they know, and then they just make everything worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were chatting a little before we pressed record, but another journey in your postpartum is your broken wrist.
Yes. That was not fun.
And we were chatting about how adaptable we really are when you were like, I'm not going to be able to do anything. I'm going to need people to help me 24/7. And then like within a couple of days, you were like carrying him. And
yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I was freaking out the first days because I was convinced I really need someone here with me every day now for like 8 weeks. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be impossible. I mean, I don't want someone here all the time. I want to be the one taking care of my baby and hold him, change his diapers, do everything, right? And if my family is not always available, then oh God, I had to like pay a babysitter. And yeah, so my mother-in-law came over the first days, like all the time, all day. And she would help with him, but then after a few days she just had to do the housework because I started doing all the work with my son completely alone. Like I figured out how to pick him up. I would just like just use my left arm and like get my hand under his butt and like get up. It just works. And changing his diaper even, I totally figured out how I have still a lot available. I have my left hand, I have my foot. So I would just like turn him around with this arm even. I would just like turn him around, hold the diaper in place, turn him back, put my foot on the front, hold it in place. Like those kind of things. And it totally worked. Like I figured out everything. The only thing is like the kitchen, of course, it's always dirty now.
Yeah.
But I got everything covered for my baby, and that was my most important part. Yeah. Because I just felt like, oh God, if I can't do it, then this is gonna be like a big disruption in his development if his mom is suddenly not as much around. Yeah. But there's no problem.
You adapted.
Of course, it is a little frustrating that you can't bounce him as much. Like I can only hold him in place like this and not like change position and like be wild and playful. So now he's a little bit more wanting to go on daddy's arm in certain times when he wants to play more. He's like, no, daddy.
Yeah. Not only are you adapting, but he is too.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thank you for sharing your journey. What were you saying?
Yeah. Oh no, I was just saying that it did have a little chain reaction because of the pain medication that I got. And I couldn't feed him my breast milk for 1.5 days. 2 days. It was 2 days. So we had organic formula. And I say organic because it makes me feel better. Like, oh, well, at least he got organic. But it wasn't good because he got sick the next day. Immediately, like, stuffed up, super slimy. And, yeah, so he just had, like, a really bad time going through that for a week. And that just made me realize, wow, okay, breast milk is really the best. It's the golden milk.
I know a lot of people who keep some like frozen just for emergencies like that.
That is really necessary. That's what I'm starting to do now much more. I only had it for a day, the emergency. So it wasn't enough. And now I stock up for a week. Whatever week, just in case.
Yeah. And if you're ever in a pinch too, I know a lot of lactating mamas who will send some milk. I remember I did that I got donor milk with my son for 2 years because I couldn't nurse him. And it was such a blessing to not have to have relied on formula and,
oh my God.
of like all the hundreds of mommies that fed him, it's just so sweet.
Oh my God. Yeah, you can't substitute breast milk.
No.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your story with me and with everyone who's going to be listening.
Of course. Well, thanks for having me. That was fun.
Yeah, good to see you.
All right. Well, hope I see you soon.
Yes, yeah. Sooner than you think, actually. I think I'm going to be visiting very soon.
Oh, nice. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks everybody for listening. You can find us at Born Wild Podcast on Instagram. For inquiries or feedback, you can email us at bornwildpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me, Emma Ray, on Instagram at Emma Ray, REA.
Sophia at sophiabirth.com. And me, Leah, at Bay Area Home Birth.
We would really appreciate it if you would rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps us reach more people. And as always,
Stay wild.